Hi, this is Majnu and welcome to this visualization exercise. Visualizing moves in chess is something very important. We need to be able to calculate lines during our games in a very accurate way. So it's important that we are able to visualize the positions that arise after some moves. Now, because of this, I have developed this visualization exercise, and I'm going to tell you first how this is going to work. I have here a game that was played by Mikael Tal against Ulf Andersson in 1976, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to read hard loud the first 5 moves of the game without moving the pieces on the board. So you will be asked to visualize those moves. After the 5 moves, I'm going to show you the 5 moves. So I'm going to move the first 5 moves then, and then you can check if you got the right position in your mind. Now after this we're going through the next 5 moves. So I'm going to read hard loud again the next 5 moves, so move 6 till 10, and you will visualize them in your mind. And so we will go actually through the whole game this way. The game lasts 34 moves. So in fact what you will be doing is constantly using your imagination, using your visualization skill to follow the game. And in fact this is what we are constantly doing when we play a tournament game. We're constantly trying to visualize what can happen in different lines. So well, let's see how this works. We go through the first 5 moves now. Are you ready? Here we go. The first 5 moves are e4, c5, knight f3, d6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, knight f6, knight c3, e6. Okay, I hope this wasn't very difficult. It's the Sicilian opening that we see: e4, c5, knight f3, d6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, knight f6, knight to c3, and e6. This is the so-called Scheveningen variation. Now this is mostly not correctly pronounced. Most people say Scheveningen variation, but the correct pronunciation in Dutch is Scheveningen. So now let's continue with our exercise. I'm going to read hard loud the next 5 moves. Okay, are you ready? It's white to move, and the next 5 moves are bishop to e2, bishop to e7, castle kingside, castle kingside, f4, knight to c6, bishop to e3, a6, queen to e1, knight takes d4. Here are the moves now on the board: bishop to e2, bishop e7, castle kingside, f4, knight to c6, bishop to e3, a6, queen to e1, and knight takes d4. Okay, we continue with the next 5 moves. Here they are: bishop takes d4, b5, rook d1, bishop b7, bishop f3, queen c7, e5, d takes e5, f takes e5, knight to d7. Now let's have a look if you got these 5 moves correct. Bishop takes d4, d5, rook to d1, bishop to b7, bishop f3, queen to c7, e5, d takes e5, f takes e5, knight to d7. Sorry. Now let's continue with the next 5 moves. I'll try to read them slowly since the position gets a bit more complicated. So the next 5 moves are: bishop takes b7, queen takes b7, knight to e4, rook a to d8, rook to d3, queen to c6, rook to g3, queen takes c2, queen to e3, queen to c4. So here we go, let's have a look. Bishop takes b7, queen takes b7, knight to e4, rook a to d8, sorry, rook to d3, queen to c6, rook to g3, queen takes c2, queen to e3, and the last move, queen to c4. Now we continue with the exercise. The next 5 moves are b3, queen to d5, knight f6 check, bishop takes f6, e takes f6, g6, rook to g4, king to h8, bishop to b6, and rook to c8. Let's go through the moves now on the board. b3, queen to c5, knight f6 check, bishop takes f6, e takes f6, g6, rook to g4, king h8, bishop b6, rook to c8. We continue with the next 5 moves. Queen to h6, rook to g8, rook d4, knight takes b6, rook takes d5, knight takes d5, rook f3, rook c3, rook f3, rook c3, yes, rook takes c3, knight takes c3. I'm going to read this again because I got a bit messed up. So let's go again through these moves. Queen to h6, rook g8, rook d4, knight takes b6, rook takes d5, knight takes d5, rook f3, rook c3, rook takes c3, knight takes c3. Now let's have a look on the board. Queen h6, rook g8, rook d4, knight takes b6, rook takes d5, knight takes d5, rook to f3, rook c3, rook takes c3, knight takes c3. And we go now through the last 4 moves of the game. Here they are. Queen to e3, b4, queen to a7, rook to f8, queen to c5, rook to b8, and queen to d6. And in that position black resigned. Now let's have a look at the game. Queen to e3, b4, defending the knight. Queen to a7 attacks the f7 pawn and the a6 pawn. The rook goes to f8. Now the queen goes to c5, attacking the rook and the pawn on b4. Rook to b8, defending this pawn, and now queen to d6, once more attacking all the weaknesses of the black camp. The rook on b8 is attacked the pawn on a6 and the pawn on b4, this is soon going to collapse completely. So in this position black resigned. Okay, but let's actually see if we can evaluate this type of exercise, because this time this video is not about all the technical parts of the chess game in this exercise, in this in this game, but it's more about the ability to actually developing the ability to visualize moves. And please write in the comments if you find this useful, because in that case we can continue doing a few more of these videos. I find that this is a good training method to train your visualization skills. I hope you enjoyed this, and that this will help you to be able to calculate the lines in your own games in an easier way. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on YouTube. Bye.